This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're going to talk about seed retention and how it relates to selling. Selling is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and to be honest with you, I was thinking about my videos and I haven't made a video about sales, I think, ever. And if I have, it's kind of been mixed in with a lot of other topics that I've been talking about, so let's talk about it. When we talk about seed retention, we're talking about the practice of non-ejaculation over a long period of time. Preferably, you should be able to do it for longer than 30 to 40 days so that your sperm productions normalize until you can get to 90 days of practicing seed retention. Once you've done that, once you've gotten past the first 90 days, which is the hardest thing there is, really, most of the time, it's just smooth sailing. Will you maybe have a relapse after 90-day period? Perhaps, but usually that would happen once in a blue moon. It's kind of like, oh, because you basically just returned to some other habits, and those habits made you return to being kind of needy and starting a relapse process. But to be honest with you, once you get past 90 days, you're pretty much kind of off the hook unless you're not careful. But if you're careful, then it's absolutely beautiful. You've gotten past the 90 days, and then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. But smooth sailing in what is the question? Seed retention is so that you are able to become non-needy. Okay? The opposite of non-needy is being needy, which means that you need something desperately so bad right now, and you can't handle the emotions that you're having that are running through your veins, running through your body, saying that you need this thing. But that's an addiction. That's something that is ridiculous for you to have. If you're going to be masculine, if you're going to be emotionally stable, then you can't have these emotions running through your body saying that you need something. Okay? Because that's low value. Okay, we're talking about becoming men of high value. When you're a man of high value, you don't need any one thing. And the reason why you don't need any one thing is because you've got a lot of options. What does that have to do with sales? Well, sales is all about creating options for oneself and to not be needy. If you're actually practicing sales in business, okay, let's just use the example of looooooong, because he's been one of my most amazing clients with what he's done in his business because of the things that he's learning. And what he's done basically is he's created a lot of options for himself. Once he started his Instagram account and he started his Twitter account, he already had those on. But once we kind of revved those things up when we started the coaching, what ended up happening is that he began to get more options. He began to get tons of people, DMing him and wanting his canvases and wanting to have his business and wanting to buy stuff from him, which meant that it wasn't really that horrible when one person said no. Right? If you only have one person a day that contacts you and says, I want a canvas, and then you're not able to close that person, you're not able to actually give them what they actually wanted from you, then you're gonna be needy about that one sale. And if you're needy about that one sale, guess what? That's when people run away from you. It's kind of like the pigeons in the park. If you've got bread for them, you know that they want the bread. But if you're running after them and throwing it at them, they're going to fly away and disappear very quickly. But if you're actually coming to them and you've got the bread in your hand and you're being very calm, very nice, and you've got other options because on the other side of you, there's some other pigeons, then they're pretty much going to come over and nibble from your hand. Do you understand? And what has happened with looooooong is that now he's gotten so much business that so many people want to buy canvases from him that guess what? Because he's a man of high value and because his canvases are becoming more and more worth every single day, he can increase his prices because he's got options. So when people say, oh, what? What the heck? What, that price? That's like triple the price of what it was 2 months ago. Then he can easily say, well, that's the price now. You know, you could take it or leave it. And he does it in a people skilled manner and in a good way so that people actually want to buy. And the less needy he is, guess what? The more they actually want to buy. And this is how it works in the art of selling. If you have something that's scarce, something that people cannot easily get a hold of, you choose the price. As a man of high value, if you are scarce and if you are, someone that people desire, they desire your skills, they desire your understanding, they desire what you have to offer, then you can increase your prices. And because of the fact that you're working a lot and you're getting a lot of options, it becomes so much easier to sell. Selling very often is all about actually getting many different options. Okay, so in the future, this is how players get women. They just basically contact a lot of different women, and because of that, it's not a big deal when one of them says no. In fact, it's kind of normal when a person says no. But in their mind, they're expecting the person to say yes because that's what's normal in the salesperson's mind. And when people say no, it's not normal, even though that's the thing that happens most often. Eventually, the tide turns, okay, to the point where more and more people are saying yes to you. And then eventually you get 80% of people saying yes to you and 90% of people saying yes to you. Guess what happens to the price? It keeps going up steadily but surely over time, and suddenly you find yourself being rich because you're selling something that people love to have, and you're awesome at selling, and you're teaching your people, your employees, to sell well because they're thinking the way you're thinking, and you're heavily rewarding them for it. And then over time you just build an employee structure of salespeople that are massively increasing the revenues, and you're making sure that you're reinvesting in your product, reinvesting in everything that needs to be reinvested in, so that the customers are happy all the time, and that will continuously increase the prices because you're increasing the options of people, and people start talking to people. Suddenly you've got a lot more people who want your product, and guess what? Do you have a lot of options now, or do you not? You have a lot of options. This is what selling is, and it all starts with seed retention. Because if you are needy for a long period of time and you keep that mindset, then that neediness will spill over into every single aspect of your life, including business. And you don't want to have a needy mindset. You don't want to have a scarcity mindset. You want to have an abundance mindset. You want to have, there's so much and plenty to spare. And this is what happens with your seed retention. Your sperm production creates that in you. And since you're not wasting it all the time with unnecessary activities like porn and masturbation, then you're basically creating abundance in you, and an abundant mindset continuously that spills over into every single aspect of your life, including business. Okay, so the point of this is you've got to learn how to sell. Okay, selling is the number one skill in life and in business. And it's basically like, if you're going to convince yourself of something, you've got to learn how to sell to yourself. Lead yourself, okay? Sell to yourself first. If you've got some habits that you need to develop in your life, you need to learn how to sell to yourself and convince yourself that this is the wise process to start. And then number two is you need to sell to the people that are going to work with you, like your collaborators, your business partners, the people that it's selling every single day. Persuasion is selling. And a lot of people are like saying that, well, I hate selling and I don't like selling. Get over it, because selling truly is the number one life skill that you need to have in your life. And it's in every single area of your life. So in terms of leading a team, you're going to persuade them. You're going to persuade them to sell this product. You're going to give them the vision that this is the product that they want to sell. And also leading a team and creating a vision for that team so that they understand why they're doing this, and then eventually leading customers to buy from you. It's all sales, and sales is leadership, and leadership is sales, and it is just mashed up into this whole thing. And once you learn sales, guess what? It's the same when it comes to women. If you understand sales, guess what? It's very easy to actually get women eventually, because you know how to sell. And it's not necessarily selling a product, but kind of you are. Like, once you've developed your character, it becomes very easy to sell you because you're confident. When you're confident about you, it's easy to sell you. It's kind of like when you're confident about a product, it's easy to sell that product because you've tried it, you know it works, and it's awesome. Just like you know you work and you know you're awesome, that's why it's easy to sell you to ladies, right? And that happens eventually, right? That's level number 3, stage number 3. And then stage number 4, selling, it's with kids, it's kind of easy when you're giving them 2 options. It's kind of like, do you want pasta or do you want, pizza? It's kind of, well, don't give them those 2 options, but you understand what I mean. It's everything is selling. You've got to learn how to sell, and the best time to start selling and start learning the process of sales was yesterday. So if you haven't started yet, start today of learning how to sell. And number 1 part in the process of learning how to sell, in my opinion, seed retention. Because if you understand how to actually discipline yourself to do something that you don't want to do, or discipline yourself to not do the thing that you do want to do, you're massively on your way to being disciplined in selling. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next video.